Blog Talk Radio.
Nice. I know that one. Oh, sir. It's not that easy being green.
I know that's right.
Having to spend each day the color of the leaves. When I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or maybe gold.
I love gold.
Me too. There's something much more colorful like that.
Ain't that the truth?
Yep.
It's not that easy being good. Seems to play.
Todd, you're so adorable because you don't. Sometimes you get yourself into trouble and you don't even realize it because of your innocence. And yeah, believe it or not, everybody out there, Todd, has a certain amount of innocence. My name is Mandy Goodhandy. Welcome to the show, whether you're listening live or to the archives, and my business partner and friend Todd Klink, who selects the pieces of music before we introduce our guests. And he picked Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, he was doing a duet, but yeah, he was singing, his biggest hit.
And what's it called again?
It's Not Easy Being Green.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to explain to everybody listening out there. We have Matthew on the show, who is originally from, I believe, Quebec. I would say Montreal, but I'm not sure. I don't think he's originally from Montreal, but he is from Quebec. And I want people to know that the song that was picked, the reason it was selected, it was to do with the fact that Matthew is involved with the green space on Church Street. So you picked it for the green, right?
Yeah.
Because other people might think, oh, Matthew's friend, so you're trying to call Matthew a frog or whatever.
Well, God never would have thought of that.
And see, well, people think that way because they're weird. I don't. But you know how people are. They're always looking for something they can pick on, right?
Is that slur a Canadian-specific thing? Or is that
no, it's actually a slur towards people in Paris, France.
Oh, okay.
They call them, it's like a slur for French.
That's a slur to the frog, yeah.
Yeah, they don't usually call anybody from Quebec. They don't call them. I think some people do, but it's not usually directed at the Canadian French. But anyway, so that has nothing to do with that. And it was like a very cute song. You know, I always find it interesting when you pick songs that are odd. Kermit the Frog, yes. But talking about Matthew, Matthew's going to be joining us on the show. Matthew has a very interesting and involved background regarding the community in general, and so we're very excited to have him on, and his part of what he's going to be involved with for Pride this year in Toronto, and some of the past with him, and a lot of the stuff that he has done regarding with same-sex marriage. He's been married for 10 years now to his husband, and we want to talk a little bit about that and the fact that he wrote an article in the Toronto Star regarding that. And for those who are on the radio page, if you're able to find it, half the time people can't find it, but if you're on there, you'll see the pictures, the slideshow pictures, and one of them includes that article that was in the Toronto Star magazine.
Yes.
Did you want to bring Matthew on right away, or did you have something you want to say about Mayor Ford being at the flag raising today?
Well, I told Mathieu, I guess, or we're not even trying to pronounce it. You're just calling Matthew. I told him we call between 10 after and 15 after, so it's never nice to be early. That's one of my beliefs, you know.
Okay.
So we have to talk about things. Yeah, Rob Ford went to the flag raising. That's our crazy mayor. I am not sure if he has never been before, but he kind of shirks a lot of his LGBT responsibilities. Like he refuses to go to the parade, but.
Well, it's not that he refuses to go to the parade. It's just that he claims that he has family commitments, and they've been doing it for years. And that long weekend every year, he does that family event. So he's never outright said, "I won't come to it because I don't believe in it." And he has publicly, and then when I saw him at the flag raising, you know what? I'm good with that. I think it's good. He was at the flag raising. So kudos to him, and he made his little speech that was written for him, of course, about the city being inclusive and this, that, and the other thing. But the fact that he did at least that much, okay, he's done something.
It says it's his first one, but
okay.
The cynic in me is saying one thing that he's been up to lately, since he's managed to slide this crack scandal under the rugs. Which, he's doing way more public appearances than ever. So he's sort of like, okay, now I'm going to start doing my job. Now that I want to come out more often and be visible, and so from a political point of view, yes, it was very strategic and smart for him to do this.
And also, is it true or not true that his brother is considering running for political office? I think Canada-wide.
I think he's provincial. But
okay, provincial? Okay, and he's there at the flag raising, waving the pride flag. And it just looked a bit staged to me.
Well, yeah, he's looking for anything to better his name because he's been criticized. But as you said, in the end,
at least he went, and it's all about including everybody, in this city, because he is the mayor of all of us, and he needs to represent Toronto, every aspect of Toronto. But the thing that bothered me, and I was speaking about this last week on the show, is he was one of the ones that voted not to give the funding for the Pride Parade this year. So pick a team and make up your mind and do something. But, I thought that was kind of shocking anyway, the fact that I've never been handed the figures of what kind of money comes into this city during Pride weekend. But I'm assuming, Todd, it's a lot of money comes into the city.
Well, yeah, Kevin told us how much it was last week. I don't remember, but
so the thing is, then the funding must outweigh the funding. So it's a little shocking. Anyway, but that being said, that's what's going on in our fair city. And of course, like I mentioned, the pride flag has been raised yet one more year. So kudos to our lovely community out there, and we're hoping that everybody has a wonderful Pride. It runs for the whole weekend, and pace yourself, my darlings. Okay, some people just go a little too nuts, I think, and I worry about that. I worry, especially the young people. It's all about, in some cases, not all cases, they get stoned and ripped and high, and you know what, partying is good, it's fine, but we have to be careful that we doesn't get too dangerous. And so, just watch your party and be selective, and and of course enjoy and celebrate the fact that we've come this far. That there was one party you were mentioning, Todd, and I thought it was kind of funny. The stay awake party, or awake, you're still awake.
Well, yeah, it's a tradition in the drug scene. I actually kind of like it.
Alleged, you're assuming though, right?
Well, that's what I mean. I was going to say why I like it, because it's actually being blatant. But yes, it's alleged. But it's I think it's kind of subversive for people to actually kind of be blunt about what something is really all about. Because I've been to these parties, okay? That's what they're about. They're about drugs, especially the ones. What we're referring to is there's one that starts at 7 a.m. Monday morning and goes till late afternoon, and it's called Awake. And the tagline is, "You want to be awake." And so, it's referring to crystal meth and speed and ecstasy and whatever else you want to take, but. It's good. It's tongue-in-cheek.
Well, that's Todd's take on it.
That's my interpretation.
My interpretation is just for all those lovely, wonderful people that have to get up early, in the morning, and just want to go and have a nice little party.
They want to dance
with coffee and donuts and hold hands and run through meadows. But it's interesting, and it is kind of blatant. I'm fine with that. It's just like I was saying to you, though, as long as we pace ourselves and we
try not to overdose people.
Well, okay, yeah, you're putting it directly. I was pussyfooting, I guess, around it, but I do worry about that. Probably more than anything else, I worry about that the most. Dehydration, of course, happens a lot.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
People, I don't know what it is. All my darlings out there, water. Okay, it's everywhere. Just keep yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't feel thirsty, that doesn't mean you're not dehydrated. I'm sure a lot of you know that. So, lots of water, hanging around, doing your festivities during the weekend. And there's tons and tons of fun, exciting events going on, Todd.
Yeah.
This weekend.
It almost seems like more than ever. It's great. There's lots of outdoor things to do.
Yes, everybody's getting involved. And, you got clubs in the West End, remember that, and you got ones in the East End. And everyone's involved. And it's not just a village thing, even though that's our home base, of course. The village is where a lot of the main attractions are going on. But now they're spreading out a bit more. And Kevin mentioned on the show last week, the executive director of Pride, for those that don't know, he was on the show last week, and he mentioned the fact that World Pride especially will be spreading out a lot, the Pride festivities. So it's not just going to be focused downtown Toronto. And you know what? And this is a good thing. And one of the reasons I say it's a good thing is, we have to get out of our safety zone sometimes, and get out there and show the city, like citywide that we're here, we're queer, and we're proud, and so get out there and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. All right, well then I will call Mathieu.
Okay.
Oui, bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
How are you?
Je vais très bien, merci.
Wow, that's impressive.
See, I learned all that
like
knowing you were on the show.
Wow, the beauty of Google Translation.
There you are, see. But I took French before. I've been in a few Frenchmen.
Excellent.
It is so nice to have you on the show, Matthew, and I hope you don't mind me pronouncing your name just plain Matthew.
No, that's good. You could have practiced this as well today, but we'll go with Matthew. It's more than fine.
It would be easy. Otherwise, I'm going to screw it up, and and I've never pretended that I'm very good at pronunciation. I have a lot of trouble with that, so it takes me a long time. But
from the old country where they only speak English.
Excellent.
Yes, it's my people's fault. Those Scottish, how they are. They don't refine themselves, the bastards. But
let's blame them. Yes, good idea.
Yes, we'll blame them. Matthew, I remember meeting you a long time ago. It was you were doing the Lofters.
Yes, that's a very
long time ago. And I don't know if you remember,
indeed.
but I remember clearly. You were doing the Lofters, and you were one of the few people in the media that actually invited me. I had a grievance, and I had a grievance because of the census in Canada.
Yes.
And they did not acknowledge the fact that trans women and men existed. And I was upset because we should be counted, and
Absolutely.
I was trying my best to bring the attention to the government, and you brought me on your show to speak about it, and I appreciated that.
It was my pleasure, and you know what? I would love to have the feeling that trans issues are doing much better in Canada, but sadly, it seems like we tend to forget about transsexual way too often, and that's very, very sad. And if there's a fight that we need to take as a community for the next years, it's definitely to create some awareness around trans issue in general, but mostly in our community as well. I think that a lot of gay men and a lot of lesbians don't understand trans issue, don't care enough, and are not willing to fight for this. And we have to do this together. I really believe in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that, and you're absolutely right. We all have to pull together to do that because we have to be recognized, we have to be counted, and most of all, we have to be acknowledged.
absolutely.
You know, that we're human, and we don't mind being trans. It's not as if, you know, in a lot of cases, the young ladies and the young men are going through a full change so they can become male or female. But for all of us that are still living in between or still transitioning as we're going along and haven't decided one way or the other or don't want to, then we have to be acknowledged as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things that make our community a lot more interesting, and you know, it raises a lot of great questions, and it forces us to challenge ourselves on so many things that we take for granted, and I love this.
Well, you've been involved with the 519 for a long time.
For a very long time. Yes, absolutely. The Gay and Lesbian Community Center in Toronto for almost 10 years. So I guess when I started working with them, I was 6 years old. But for 10 years now. I was the chair for 3 years. I was on the board for 5 years, and now I'm sort of taking a break. I'm taking a break from the board of management, but I'm still working extremely hard for the Pride celebrations. You know, I don't know if you remember, but 6 or 7 years ago, the park next to the 519, the Cartwright Park, was a place where you were going on Sunday if you were not able to get into the other beer gardens. It was a place where at the center we were taking the table inside of the center, bring them outside, and basically we were playing whatever kind of music that we were able to find on cheap speakers and raising a little bit of money, sometimes $10,000, sometimes $20,000. And I've looked at this park and I'm like, wow, this is like an enchanted forest. This is the nicest spot where we can throw an amazing beer garden and have a good time in the park during the celebration. So I decided to invest a little bit of money, and we have like real bars, real bartenders, an amazing sound system, and we have DJs from all over the world coming and spinning in this beautiful green space, and it became quite a sensation. Last year we had over 50,000 people coming, and we raised over $200,000. That's a lot of money, a lot more than we were doing in the past. So that's exciting because we're raising money, but it's also exciting because we are bringing the community together. We are doing things that were not done before during Pride. We're shaking things up a bit as well. We're trying to offer something different every year, and I think we're succeeding quite well. This year,
you certainly are.
I don't know. I think I personally love my Pride, and I love the time that I'm spending in the park. And this year we're doing some. Can I talk to you a bit about what we're doing this year? Because we have
yes,
some
you
fun.
can. You know what I love about you, Matthew. You just came on this show and proved to me and everybody out there that you're obviously very experienced at being interviewed, and not only being interviewed, but actually interviewing others. And you segued into that so beautifully.
Thank you.
Even though we were going to do it anyway, young man. But I mean, fine. Now that you've done it, it's good. I mean, let's hear about it. We're dying to hear about it. Thank you.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, I'm good about. I think my key message is making sure that I say the things that I must say. So I will say it, and I think it's interesting. I think we are doing some fun stuff. We are starting the festivities on Thursday night, which is the 27th this week at 7 o'clock in the park with Starry Night. Starry Night is a night a bit different than the others. This is a night where normally guys and girls are keeping their shirt on. There's nobody that is too drunk, or normally people are still looking good, right? So we decide to go with this theme and offer something a lot more chic, an elegant outdoor soiree where, everybody is dressing well. And dressing well doesn't mean that you need to go buy a very expensive outfit. It means that you can put your nicest wig on. It means that you put a nice T-shirt on. It means that a guy and a girl can decide to put the nicest tie on as well. But everybody's making an effort to look good. And the theme this year is Love is in the Hair. And it's not because I'm francophone that I'm pronouncing a H in hair. It's really hair as hair, because we are celebrating the drag queens. And it's funny because drag queens are an essential part of the Pride celebrations. I mean, they were the first one fighting for us and getting us a Pride celebration a very long time ago. And we sort of in Toronto we don't really celebrate our drag queens during Pride. So we decided this year to have a big night where we ask everybody to wear a wig, and we will have drag queens everywhere, which means that Lady Bunny, the famous and legendary drag queen, will be spinning all night. We're going to have Jinx Monsoon. She's the winner of the last season of RuPaul's Drag Race, performing as well. And we also have Stefan de Cox and about 20 local drag queens to prepare some shows. So all night in the park, every 15 or 20 minutes, we will not stop the music, but we will turn around, and on stage you will have these amazing drag numbers. And it's all new for me. This is the first time that I'm throwing a drag show. These girls are extremely competitive. They want to do better than the others, and they're going to put a big show all night. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And Kathleen Wynne is coming. Tim Hudak is coming. We have the Gary Levy from Big Brother Canada coming. The designer guys are attending as well. So it's a bit the who's who of Toronto, and it's normally a good time.
How many years have you had Starry Night now?
This is the year number 6, and the first year was very small, but the last year we had about 3,000 people in the park, which is, for Thursday night, pretty impressive. It's a good night.
How many?
Are you going to come, guys?
Who selected the name Starry Night?
I don't remember. I was sitting at the table, but it was probably a group of board members at the time.
I thought it was interesting, considering Starry Night is actually, I'm assuming, is named after the Van Gogh painting.
It's one of the reasons, yes.
And did you know that Van Gogh was in a nut house when he painted that?
Oh, really? Perfect. I love it even more.
So I thought maybe that's part of the reason why you guys picked it, because it's kind of out there and really, but it's an interesting art piece. I just thought I'd bring that up, but. Okay, so that's your Thursday night, which sounds like fun. And what the thing is, Matthew? The thing is, the Thursday night also is going the same night as our big T-Girl Pride Party.
Really?
Well, no, but that's okay. That's okay, because it's different. People will move back and forth. That's what they do, right?
Absolutely. What time is your party at?
Ours goes from, our doors are open at 8, and it goes up until we're serving till 4 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, perfect, excellent. So people can do both. That's what I like.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly. So when it comes to dropping by, who knows? Maybe Todd and I will drop by, or one of us, or we'll see.
I would love this. I would love this. Please be my guest if you can. You'll like it. So and then the weekend goes on. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Please go ahead.
Okay,
This is about you, dear. We want to hear about you, so go right ahead.
I love it. So Friday night, we have something starting at 4. It goes until midnight. It's called One World Where the Wild Things Are, and we have the godfather of house music, Frankie Knuckles, spinning in the park as well. He's a legend. He's from New York, and he brings. What house music was, what house music is, and what house music will be. He's a true legend. He's a wonderful man, and I'm very excited to have him in the park. He's coming with Jojo Flores from Montreal. Dakozy will be spinning as well, and other local DJs. It should be a fun night. He was there last year, and it was quite a night. And what I like about him is that he plays house music, but he doesn't attract a circuit party crowd. It's a different crowd. It's people that love house music, but it's not the circuit boys that you see there. So I like that. I like that the fact as well that we bring in the park different kind of people, different groups. It's important for me as well. I don't want to do the same party 4 days in a row. So it brings us to Saturday. Saturday in the park. Yes, and it's a fun party as well because it's the oldest party that we have at the center. It's Lipstick Jungle, and this is a party where we're very proud of only putting women or trans or people who identify as women on stage. The women are owning the park, and it's their day. Meanwhile, there's about 20% of guys as well. I personally love going there because because first, when there's less guys, it's easier to get their attention, and because the women have a great energy. They know what they're doing, and they yeah, it's a totally different vibe, but it's a good one. We have Ana Paula, she's a big DJ from Brazil coming. We have Alison Calania, she's from Miami. And we have Cherry Bomb as well, the girls from Cherry Bomb spinning all afternoon right after the parade, and they're very excited to be part of it as well. So
that's right. Yes, the big lesbian parade is on the Saturday that afternoon, so I thought we should mention that as well. Followed by lipstick. I think that's a great idea. We love the women's parties, don't we, Todd? You're right, Matthew. They have an amazing feel to them, and the energy is incredible.
Absolutely, and and you know, it's for me, it's out of my comfort zone as well. This is not what I'm used to. So once a year, I love meeting new people, meeting new women, and I'm always making a lot of new friends. It's a great energy. It brings us to Sunday.
Yes, let's go to Sunday.
And Sunday this year is very different for us. Last year we had a great party in the park, but the lineup was over 2 hours to get in. So it was nice, but I was seeing a lot of my friends in the lineup, and there's no way I could help everybody and make them jump the line because it would not have been fair. So we don't think it's cool for people to wait 2 hours in line to celebrate with us, and we had to do something about it. So we decided to find another space. So instead of having one party on Sunday, we're going to have two. We're going to have in the park, next to the 519, a disco party. But not the kind of disco party that you can expect. I mean, it's going to be nothing like the disco music that you hear in a wedding. We're bringing some young DJs. Phil V, I don't know if you know Phil V, probably. He was the editor of Fab. He works for Extra now. He's a great DJ, and he's bringing some of his friends. And in the afternoon, they're gonna play a very extremely modern kind of disco. They're gonna have a big show with Patty Gallant. Patty Gallant is a legend as well from the 70s, and she's flying from Montreal to be with us. And at night, we're gonna have a Digital Needle. They're a collective of DJs as well that do very fun disco party here in Toronto, and they are bringing the legendary Limelight DJ Robert Ouimet from Montreal as well. So it's going to be a very, very different sound, and we decided to do a disco party also because we wanted to please the neighbors. The neighbors by Sunday were really sick of the big beats. You know, when you have house music, you have a big bass, and it's basically it makes the house around the center shake for 4 days. So on Sundays, with the disco sound, they're going to have something a lot more melodic. They're going to have something a lot less difficult for their house and for their ears to absorb, so it should be fun. And we are moving our most famous party, the Treehouse Party, to the Ryerson Quad. You know the Ryerson Quad?
Yes.
It's at Church and Gerard.
Tell me where that is roughly, because that's the one. That's the only one we're going to be able to make it to. All of us after the parade, we're all going straight to Ryerson.
Perfect, excellent. So if almost at the end of the parade, at the corner of Yonge and Gerard, there's Ryerson University that is there. And inside of the walls of Ryerson University, really at the corner of Yonge and Gerard, or Church and Gerard, there's this big, beautiful quad. It's humongous. It's twice as big as the space that we're using in the park. It's full of grass, of big trees. It's a very, very, very nice space. And for years, a lot of people have been asking Ryerson to have the space for Pride, and everybody always had problem with Ryerson. They were not ready to commit for such a big party. And this year, we came to them with a nice proposal. We explained them that we were raising money for the community center, and they said yes. So we're very excited about this. It's a beautiful space that personally gave me goosebumps every time I was there. I still can't believe that we're allowed to party there. I think it's going to be really nice. And we have Chesen Ceballos, the big DJs from Madrid. We have Abel from Miami, Isaac Escalante from Mexico, Nick Bertossi from Vancouver, and two local DJs that we love, Chase and Jeremy Camkeo, spinning as well. It's a huge production that we're going to put. We have a LED wall beside the DJ booth. We have 30 speakers. You know, a party outside, normally you have 2-3 speakers. We have 30 speakers to make sure that we have a round system. And the quality of the production that we're going to put is going to be quite impressive. I don't think we ever had something like this for free in Toronto. It's going to be quite impressive.
Is that
then
alcohol
maybe we can
free, or
also
do you have a bar there set up there?
We have a bar set up in all our parties, and that's the way we make money, right?
I wasn't sure about the Ryerson one, that's all. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we're going to have 5 or 6 bars on the Ryerson venue. And yeah, all our parties are free, but donations are essential. We're going to bug you. I'm going to bug everybody around me for 4 days for donations, and we need people to go to the bar and to drink responsibly, of course, but to drink because that's the way we make all our money, and we need to make some money this year. And plus,
everybody looks better, as we all know. So
yes,
a few drinks, let your hair down. Exactly. That sounds like the kind of party I would probably end up at. Is that one? You know,
perfect.
Because that way I can climb a tree if I want to, you know. If I'm going to pass out, I can be up on a tree, nobody will notice.
Perfect. I want to see this.
Yeah, no, actually my lawyer told me I couldn't do that anymore. But anyway, so no, you've got a lot of fun stuff happening. It sounds great, Matthew, you know, and thank you for all of that, you know, for providing all of this for Pride, and plus the fact that it's a fundraiser, and everybody out there needs to be aware of that as well. This is to raise money for the 519 Community Center that does amazing things for our community. So support these events, you know, and go and have a few drinks and everything. But I wanted to talk about the same-sex marriage because you did a very, very nice, entertaining, and interesting article in the Toronto Star.
Yes.
And you yourself personally have been married for 10 years. And may I say this, Matthew? You two are just gorgeous. You're just and I mean this. I mean, it's like, and I don't just throw, you know, things around like that. But you two look like the two guys that were actually go on top of a wedding cake.
Wow, thank you.
You know,
because
you're both just so cute, and so. But anyway, the article itself, I wasn't aware. And I was saying this to Todd. I wasn't aware that there were demonstrators there.
Oh yeah. Marcelo, my partner, and I were one of the first couple to get married 10 years ago, and it's funny because we were not expecting this. Like, yes, we knew it was new at City Hall. Yes, we knew that the city was not ready to marry same-sex couple. For example, on our wedding certificate, Marcelo was the first one to sign his name, so he became the husband, and I became his wife because that's the only space that they had available as a certificate. But all this was really funny. But
are you telling me they didn't have like top and bottom there? Is that what you're saying? So they had husband and wife.
I wish. I wish that would have been much easier for us to pick a line.
So now you know our frustration when it comes to the trans thing is the fact that they only have the two you're a male or you're female, and they just don't have that third option. There's a lot of forms out there everywhere that still don't include that. But yeah, no, I'm sorry I interrupted that. But please go ahead, and you know I want to hear about these You know, I was saying to Todd, oh my God, if I would have known about this, what I wouldn't do to be able to go to something like this and have a chance to look at these people making a fool out of themselves.
Oh, my God. You know, when you come out of your wedding, normally you have people clapping in their hands and being happy for you. I had a lot of people, probably 100, I don't know, maybe 200 people with huge signs in their hands. Some of these people were kids. Some of the people we find out after were Americans that were on buses paid by right-wing organization to be at the door of my wedding when I came out and to tell me that I would burn to hell, to swear at me, to point fingers at me, to scream at me because I just had married the man of my life. It was absolutely surreal. And the other thing that was very surreal is that the polls at the time when we got married, that's only 10 years ago, were showing that over 50% of the population in Canada was against same-sex marriage. So that was very bizarre. I was so happy to be married, but at the same time, I was going back in the office and like, wow, half of the people here, half of the people in Canada don't think that I should be allowed to marry the person that I love. Mm-hmm. So all this was really surreal. But what's great is to look at the polls now. In Canada, only 18 or 17, I don't remember, % of the population are still fucking morons, are still thinking that our marriage are not, should not be permitted. But it means that there's like a big 30% of the population of people that saw that our weddings were not a danger for them in any ways. That's what we are doing is just being in love, and that's okay. So for me, that's, I mean, it's 10 years down the road, it's time to celebrate, not only the fact that I've been married for 10 years, but to celebrate as well that I think that the population is, at least in Canada, is moving in the right direction, that we are, we are learning a lot of things, and that's exciting for me.
The thing, Matthew, that bothers me a lot about that whole situation, people who are demonstrating, I think they should really take a step back and think about why does it bother them? And I think what it comes down to is what's going on in the bedroom, not what's going on in the church, not what's going on when people are getting married. They keep thinking about two men or two women having sex together, and that is what's bothering them. And they're not aware that it's about love. It's like any marriage. It doesn't matter who the couple is. It's about any marriage. It's two people joining, and not just for love, but joining for rights.
Absolutely.
And to be protected.
Absolutely. And you know what? If it bugs them so much to see gays getting married, they should think, because of the sex, they should think that the best way to stop having sex is to get married. What do you think that two guys do after 10 years? They don't have sex anymore. Same thing as a straight couple. We don't have sex after 10 years. So the best way for them to stop gays of having sex, they should let us get married.
Yes, that's right. And stop thinking about what you're doing in bed. They keep saying, I don't care what they do in their bedroom as long as they don't bother me with it. But meanwhile, they still want to know about it.
Absolutely.
They still keep bringing it up, obviously.
Absolutely. And they want, and the two girls in a bed, it's, I'm sure that if we had to pass a law or they were asking people in polls about gay wedding and lesbian wedding, people would be a lot more inclined to see lesbian getting married, because the straight guys love to think of girls having sex together, but two guys, wow. I don't know why it shocks them so much.
Yeah, this is a thing. We've brought this up on shows before when I've been talking to some of our female guests about that. Why isn't it, the thing is, when it comes to the two women getting married, you're right, heterosexual men, for some stupid reason, think that from maybe a hope in hell that they could have to lie there between those two women, which isn't going to happen.
No.
But meanwhile, as soon as a wife or a girlfriend turns around to her boyfriend or husband and says, hey, let's try a three-way, let's get your friend Harry, and all of a sudden, it's disgusting. And so I was talking to the other women about that. We're going, you know what? It's about time that we put our foot down and went and get, okay, let's get together two guys.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, this will never change. I don't know. I would love to understand why.
You're right. You know what, darling? You're absolutely right. I think what's happening here in Canada and anywhere else in the world, unfortunately, it's not always acceptance. It's more along the lines of, in cases, I think it's just tolerance. And it's kind of like, all right, whatever. They got what they want now. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's just tolerate it.
Yeah, I don't want to be tolerated. I want to be accepted. It's very, very, very important for me. Yeah.
You're absolutely right, but, we have a long way to go. Like you said, we still have a long way to go, and it doesn't matter how the polls are showing it and how people in general are acting around it. We still have a lot of people who are very uptight out there, and I think one of the other reasons is they're not being educated.
No,
and
absolutely.
it's lack of education always leads to fear.
Absolutely. And, for the last 6 months, a lot, as Francophone, I saw the debate in France, and it was so weird to see French people debating about same-sex marriage and going with old arguments, and it was putting back my relationship into shame again, and any same-sex marriage into shame, and that's so sad. So
Matthew, when you think about France, especially Paris, oh my God, they were in the beginning of the movement.
Yeah.
They were one of the first countries in the world that had hookers.
Absolutely.
And it's like...
You think that they would know better, right?
Pardon?
You think that they would know better and know...
This is what I mean. All the artists of the day all went there because they could be open-minded and they could do whatever they wanted and not be judged.
Absolutely, and this is so not happening right now, and even the artists there. Like I'm thinking about icon like Catherine Deneuve, for example, who's such a gay icon. She was on the cover of Tétu, which is the big gay and lesbian magazine. She was in so many gay-friendly movies. She's truly an icon to the gay, and she and I'm sure she's surrounded by gays, but no, she said that she will not support same-sex marriage. It's surreal for me. It's unreal, and it's very, very sad. I mean, they have marriage now, but still to see all the hate that was in the media, and to see the fact that it's also that every time that we have a debate on same-sex marriage, you need to give a voice to the people that are against it as well. And for me, these people should not even have a voice in the media anymore. We're not there anymore. This is the kind of opinions that don't deserve to be on TV, that doesn't deserve to be in a radio show as well. It's very sad, Like if you do if you do something on racism, you can have 5 people debating, and they're all going to tell you that they're against racism. You're not going to need a racist person on the show. But for gay wedding, they always think that they need a freak or a priest or a right-wing crazy person to argue against gay marriage, which is so stupid.
That's a very good point, and an excellent point, actually, because it's one of the things I'm always going on about, right, Todd? When it comes to the media in general, why do they dig up the freaks, and why do they look under the rock, for these slime buckets that they find, who are going to give these opinions, and then when you're listening to them, you're thinking, are you even educated on this subject whatsoever? It's like, I couldn't even imagine, Matthew, going on a panel or a talk show and not knowing what the hell I'm talking about.
Absolutely. No, they have no idea. And worse than this, they are claiming that they're representing associations of people against gay marriage, and they're not representing anybody. They're just freaks out there that are looking for attention in the media, and it's very sad. Because it's our life that they're talking about.
Oh no, it certainly is. It is still sad. One of my concerns about general all across Canada, generally speaking. I mean, it's one thing for us to be accepted in the city because we have our little areas where we feel protected. It's another thing to be in a small town where you've got people pretending that they're okay with it. And those are the people you have to be afraid of the most, the ones that you don't know what they're thinking. And, and then I always think, God, I could just imagine what happens with some gay or lesbian couples where all of a sudden, the villagers are outside their house with, flaming torches.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's kind of scary. And
it's kind of scary, and it's all there. We still have gay bashing all the time, everywhere, including in Canada. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. And where is that coming from? It comes from where it always comes from, and that's because the parents and the teachers and whatever are not teaching kids that, it's times to change. Change has to happen. This doesn't mean that being gay or lesbian or trans is a club that you join when you decide you want your badge. It's a simple matter of if this is how you're feeling as a person, you'll end up being like that. But it's really bothersome to me.
I agree. I really do.
So there you go. We've told people off, Matthew.
Yes, I'm glad we did it.
That'll teach them a lesson. And that being said, hopefully they'll come and join us, and even if they don't understand what we're all about, at least come and see what we're all about to a certain degree. Don't always look at what the newspapers are printing. You know, don't always look at the freak pictures that they take of people at the parade. You know, come and see it for yourself and see just how glorious and diverse this community is.
And beautiful, yes, absolutely, for sure.
Including
for sure, and I think that a lot of straight people are doing it around Pride once a year, but then again, what they see is not necessarily like. For example, I don't know many gay people that are going to see the parade. You know, like the parade is. If you're gay and you're part of an organization, sure you walk in the parade, but you've been, both of you, in the parade many times, including as Grand Marshal. You do the parade, and the only thing that you see is straight people that drop their chairs and sit there and look at the freaks, right? There's a clear disconnect between the people that are walking and the people watching the parade, and I find this personally a little bit disturbing and scary, because that's the only thing that they see. They come here for the freak show. They're just waiting to see the fully nude people walking, or the
flamboyant drag queens, and the ones that are halfway between drag.
The two of you sound like conservatives right now. You're making that argument of, it's we don't want to. I actually think the opposite. I think that I feel a connection with the straight people watching the parade. When I walk in, I see a lot of people with their kids, which means that they're open-minded enough that they're not scared that their kids might see a naked person, but they might, because if you bring your kids to the parade,
I think the point that Matthew was making, and I've made too, is more queers have to come out and be part of the parade, either watching or marching in it, and I'm certainly guilty myself for not always being at the parade. But the situation is, that's what Matthew's talking about the most. There is a lot of straight people along the line, and you know that, Todd, along the main part of the route.
There's a disconnect between the people walking and the people watching, and I would love the parade to be more interesting for the gay and the lesbian to go see the parade and find something inspiring in this. And for this, it's also, I think, that we have to blame the people in the parade, because how many people can you see on a boring float just waving at you? I think that gays have to be a little bit more creative, and lesbians and transsexuals, and in the way that they approach the parade when they decide to walk in it. It's not because you have a big dildo in your hands and that straight people are taking pictures of you that you are interesting or fascinating. It's not because you're fully naked that you are doing something creative and fun as well. I think that we have to rethink the parade and see what should be in the parade, and make sure that we put some real creativity in what we're doing as well, and have some strong messages as well in what we do. Seeing a group that are part of a camping just on a float and waving at me is not something that I find fun, especially on the Pride weekend when there's so much going on and it's so easy to have fun and get drunk somewhere. So
Todd always has a good group. Each year, Matthew, Todd always puts together a really good group of diversity, of interesting people that are not just trying to get attention. They're there because they're very proud to be there, and that includes allies. And we have a few of our straight friends that get into actually march in the parade.
More of them are. You know, it's ironic, Matthew. We march with the naked guys because we recognize, like, that's because they hold their event here. And we march with them, and I make sure I explain to all of the allies and everything about the significance of who they're marching with, because I believe that the TNT men they are historically responsible for a lot of great things in the city. I mean, they fought, they got arrested, they fought for the right to have a naked beach, and I admire that kind of thing. So it's not just about attention for when it comes to people.
And don't get me wrong, I much prefer having a naked guy, a woman in the parade, than somebody in jeans and a T-shirt sitting and waving at me because he's part of a group or an association. I find it a lot more entertaining. What I'm saying is that I think that sadly a lot of people watching the parade are not making a great connection with the community, and that's the only thing that they see or that they remember from the parade. But if the naked guys are still, or the naked women are still shocking the crowd, good. I think the parade shock in all the ways that we can, and I think that if we have to shake things up, and it works. It works.
The color and the festivities and the big floats and the fun and the excitement is certainly a huge part of what the parade is. And I think in a lot of cases, Matthew, is people have trouble now getting sponsors, and when you don't have sponsors, the floats are so expensive.
Yeah, super expensive.
And it's just, it's like I think Charlie and I were even thinking about doing a float for World Pride, but we just can't afford it, and so we're just going to basically walk, but, we'll be as colorful and as exciting as possible, because we are putting on a show as well.
We have to. I mean, yeah, you have to put a show, and you too are always putting a show. Hello. You're famous for this. But that's not everybody putting a show.
Some of the political groups with the message. I think it's wonderful. They're doing their message. They're being public about it, and they're putting across what they want to put across. But in between those colorful, fun floats and the people who are like characters, and it certainly all belongs.
Absolutely, but the parade is now like, if you watch the full parade, it takes 2.5 hours now. It's a bit long, and there's a lot of the same thing, and of course it's a tough issue, because at the same time you want to let everybody who wants to walk, and I know that for some of these people it's so exciting to be part of the parade, and that's the only thing that they think and dream about for months. So, but at the same time you have to think about the people that are watching the parade, and it's not always fun. It's always a little bit long, and it is maybe one of the reasons why there's more straight people than gay people maybe watching the parade.
They're watching it, yeah, because I know there is a lot of people who I know that are in the queer community that don't even bother. They don't go to the parade, they don't march in the parade, and they don't even watch the parade. But they do other things to support Pride, which is, on the other hand, still good. They're going to an event to spend money, or they're helping, with an event, or supporting something. So I guess everyone does their own thing.
Absolutely, and nobody, it's not because you're gay that you should be forced to go to the parade either. And it's what I find funny personally is the gays and the lesbians that decide to go to their cottage every weekend for Pride because they can't stand Pride. I think they're missing. I think they're missing a lot, and they should give it another try.
Yeah, me too.
You're absolutely right. The thing is, it's easy to sit around and go, I hate Pride. I mean, with me, generally speaking, I hate crowds. And that doesn't really necessarily mean I hate Pride. I like everything that Pride stands for. I get scared to death standing in the middle of crowds because I suffer from social anxiety. But that's just me for an example. But I try and support in other ways, where I'm able to support. Now, as long as there's alcohol being served, I'm fine.
That's my gal.
Yeah. Give me a couple of drinky poos and I'll do whatever you want. There you go.
Exactly. After 3 beers, the crowd, you can handle.
Matthew, I was going to say, to get back to your relationship and your marriage and everything, because people need to hear about these positive gay marriages that are happening, because it's still new. And we don't even know the longevity of how a lot of these marriages, will last or live out. And it will be great if they do. I'm sure it's not going to be much different than heterosexual marriages. Some last, some don't. But what about? Do you have children? Do you mind me asking?
No, we don't. And it's something that we explore at the beginning of our relationship. The 519 has amazing class called Daddies and Papas for future dads or guys considering having children, and they're actually very fascinating and amazing class. We Marcelo and I sat through, it was 10 weeks, 3 hours a session, and you sit with social workers, with international folks that help you for the adoption, with surrogate moms, with dads that from different kind of families, and we created a big bond with all the other men, part of our group. It was very, people were crying every week. It was a very powerful experience, but at the end of it, Marcelo and I realized that maybe adopting young children was not for us, and the surrogate mom situation was something that we were not ready to go through either. There's enough kids, we think, already that needs help without bringing more in the world. But what Marcelo and I want to do, and that's a project for my 40s, and I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks. We want to adopt. My partner Marcelo used to work for the Children Aid Societies, and there's a big need right now for parents to adopt 13, 14, 15 years old young kids that identify as gay or lesbian or trans. There's a lot of parents that kick them out of their house when they realize that the kid is gay. The Children Aid Societies in Toronto find some at the bus terminal pretty much every month, and nobody wants to adopt a 13 or 14 years old. So there's a serious need for parents for these kids, and my partner and I were like, you know what, we're going to live our 30s fully, we're going to have a good time, we're going to travel. In our 40s, we will go back to the Children Aid Society, and we will adopt teenagers. We will help teenagers, gay, lesbian, transsexual, to go through school, to give them the love, the support, and the models that they need to actually become adults. And we think we're going to be much better at this than with young kids. So this is the project for us in our 40s, and we bought a house where we have 2 extra rooms for this, and I think we're going to go ahead with this. This is what we want to do, I think.
That is absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited to hear that, because it just touched my heart when you were talking about that, because it's something that affects me deeply. Is the young kids that get, or the teenage kids who get thrown out or disowned by their parents, and as if that should have anything to do with their sexuality. And for people to step forward and look after them, or adopt them, or being, I think it's beautiful. And congratulations with the 2 weeks to be 40, by the way.
Thank you.
You're in for some fun times. I'm telling you, honey, every decade I get older, I go, oh, my God, I got past that, and now you get so much more confident. You've gone through all the bullshit, and 40 is a great decade.
And I'm not shy about my age. It's funny because some of my closest friends are telling me that I should lie and say that I'm 33 or 35, and I can't care less. I'm actually excited about turning 40. I think I still look good. I have a good life. I'm happy with where I am in my life. I like it. I don't want to be 20 again. I don't want to be 30 again. I'm happy to be 40 this summer. I think it's okay.
That's an extremely healthy attitude, and more queers need to feel that way. They need to start representing people who are older, and I agree with you. And I still hide my age to a certain degree, only because I'm trans and it's a woman's prerogative. But the thing is like I certainly am very open about the fact I'm over 40, okay, and I'm crawling up to 50. Let's just put it that way. But the thing is, I've learned so much by it, and I want to be one of those people that kind of turn around to young trans women and go, you know what? It's okay to be older. It's okay to age.
Absolutely.
It can be beautiful.
Absolutely. And you know what? I worked really hard for the last 20 years on staying healthy, eating healthy, going to the gym, doing a lot of sports. So I'm proud of the way I look because of these things as well, and the way I feel about myself. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm turning 40. This is the way I look, and I'm fine with it. If you're not fine with it, I'm not going to start lying about my age to get laid or having the attention of young guys. If they think I'm cute now, they're still going to think I'm cute when I tell them my real age. I hope so. If not, too bad.
Well, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's like I said to you, it's all about, we have to kind of put that across to people, and the more older people come forward and they're not ashamed, the better for the whole community in general, because we're still all very young when it comes right down to it, when it comes down to mentally and the queer community, because we have not been around for as long as people might think when it comes to our rights and our acknowledgments and everything else, especially trans women. Most of us are like 10-year-olds, It's new. It's very,
new,
very
and
new. And
you're right, it's really difficult to put an age on a trans woman because of the plastic surgery and because of the transformation. Every time that one of the person that I know that is a trans woman asks me to guess their age, it's you just can't, It's really so So yeah, it's okay for you not to tell your age.
Well, you're right about that, but I mean, that'll be coming soon. I mean, I do plan, and Todd knows this, I'm planning on using that as a bit of a platform later on in my life, so that'll be one of my things, is to say, you know what, I'm older, I'm enjoying it, it's great, believe me, it's not going to kill you.
Perfect. And as long as I'm invited to the 50th party, I'm fine.
Johnny, of course you're going to be invited. I think it would be
in 12 years.
Having you. It's one of my birthday parties. We won't say which year it is. But anyway, my Johnny, thank you so much for being on the show. You have been so enlightening, and people listening to this, I'm sure, have learned a lot about 519, about the green space, and about you, and what you represent to this community. Thank you.
Thank you,
and thank you to you guys, because the work that you've been doing I've been in Toronto for 12 years, is very, very inspiring, and you show what we don't see anywhere else, and you give a platform, you give a place for people to express themselves that is extremely important, and without you, I don't think Toronto would have the same reputation, and I don't think would have achieved the same thing. So congrats for this. I find your work extremely inspiring.
Oh, Matthew, thank you so much. And good luck with everything that you have planned in the future.
Thank you, and I hope we're going to be able to have a beer all together this weekend.
Yes, let's hope. I'm sure we can at some point. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.